Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to Earth, Indiana Fever. They got spanked so hard. The entire team needs Caitlin Clark's cushion for the bench. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. Appreciate all your support. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. The Indiana Fever just can't seem to beat the LA Sparks. And this is a problem. It exposes issues with the coaching, it exposes issues with the roster, but it also could be a problem come playoff time because the LA Sparks are a very talented basketball team, and the way things are shaping up, while they're, I think, sitting in ninth, we'll double check in a second, ninth or 10th or tied right in there. They very easily could and probably should make the playoffs. Cameron Brink is back. And while she is not going to be Cameron Brink for maybe another year, maybe midseason next season, she is going to make that team better. She already does just from her defensive presence on the court. They've got Rakia Jackson, Kelsey Plum, and on and on. This is a talented team. They should not have a losing record. So let's dig in a little bit. We're just going to whip through some of this stuff. I don't understand the rotations. The bench didn't shoot well, of course, but no one took more than 4 shots. Dantas was 1 of 4. You've got Sydney Colson playing 13 minutes while Dantas is only playing 6. And I know she hasn't been playing great lately, but it doesn't help when you're only playing 4 or 5 minutes. Chloe Bibby only played 3 minutes. This is the new WNBA. It's going to take time, but I keep saying things are changing. You look at the way the Washington Mystics are putting things together. You give this, if they don't screw it up, you give this 5-6 years, and you are not going to see anything left from the old guard of the WNBA. You are not going to see the physical play, the big, slow, unskilled bodies dominating this game is not going to be happening anymore. And that means players like Chloe Bibby on the court. That means stretching things out. That means having proper spacing. That means playing a little more up tempo, being able to go inside out, outside in, all of these things. And you're having Chloe Bibby play 3 minutes. You're having Damiris Dantas play 6 minutes. You're having Michaela Timpson play 4 minutes. But you're going to have Chloe Bibby. I'm sorry, you're going to have Sydney Colson playing 13 minutes. I think there was a point where she took this like fadeaway midi, and I think it was Sophie Cunningham's wide open. That's another issue that we have for the team in general. And look, overall, the starters played decently, but we keep hearing about the defense, right? Stephanie White, kind of like Christy Sides, kept hearing about, she's a defensive coach and look how good their defense is and blah, 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 blah. They gave up 100 points to a team with a losing record. 100 points to a team with a losing record. Not only that, the shooting, the shots, the high quality shots. Look at this. The Fever got off 77 shots. That's not bad. Like, I really, despite the bench and the rotations and all that, you can't really complain about 91 points all that much. They had a nasty bad second quarter, which is kind of their downfall, losing that quarter by 12, only scoring 16 points, 28-16. But getting up 77 shots, that's not bad. Like I always said, this is a team that should get 80 plus. So 77 without Caitlin Clark, not bad. They didn't shoot poorly either. 34-77, 12 of 33 from 3, 11 of 13 from the line. Getting only 27 rebounds hurts. But here's what I was getting to. I got distracted there for a second. Check this out. Los Angeles Sparks shot 37 of 66. 13 of 26 from 3, 13 of 15 from the line, 50% from 3, folks. But you realize what that means? They were 24 of 40, 60% from 2. There was no defense played in this game. Kelsey Plum went for 25 points on, get this, 11 shots. That is an absolutely insane points per shot ratio. That is crazy, crazy efficient. Oh my goodness. Rakia Jackson, 10 of 18, also 25 points. Kelsey Plum, by the way, 11 assists. they turned Kelsey Plum into an all-star. And it's interesting because we kept hearing about how bad Caitlin Clark is defensively, right? She hurts that team so much defensively. These guards for the Indiana Fever just made Kelsey Plum look like the greatest player of all time in the WNBA. 25 points on 11 shots, 11 assists to go with it, only 3 turnovers. Absolutely insane number. Should never, ever happen. So the defense was absolutely terrible last night. Like I said, the offense not bad. I mean, they have some issues for sure. Didn't like the rotations. They missed opportunities. And I don't say this in a negative because look, there are players that have great games when your team loses. Because I know someone will come back and say, well, Caitlin had 33 points against so and so and they lost. But when I see Kelsey Mitchell going for 34, and she also had 6 assists. Okay. So again, I'm not, but it just has that vibe of this is the Indiana Fever team that lost a lot of games, right? Kelsey Mitchell going off, getting all of her points, but the team losing. It's not elevating the play because it's not like the rest of them played poorly either offensively. And Tasha Howard, 7 of 12, 7 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston didn't have a great game, 15 points, 9, only 6 of 15 from the field. Not your best from your big, but offensively they weren't all that bad, except that the rotations and the spacing and all of that was not effective. And I want to get into that a second, but we do have to point out a couple of things. This was let's see if I have this right. The green thing entered the chat again last night and actually hit Sophie Cunningham, which is crazy for this reason. So that's becoming a thing, obviously, every game. Now, the fact that they just hit a player is going to, I think, elevate elevate the issue in terms of some serious repercussions when somebody gets caught for this. But what's wild, and I love this actually, if I have it here correctly. Sophie Cunningham, who the other day said, "Stop throwing, you know what, on the court. You're going to hurt one of us." And then her follow up after last night's game was, "This did not age well." So kudos, shout out to Sophie Cunningham for handling it that way because we all know if this was another type of player, the type of thing that we would get and all these think pieces, and we'd all be exhausted by the absolute nonsense. So, shout out, kudos to Sophie Cunningham for handling it that way. And speaking of Sophie, which is also why I kind of wanted to bring that up, because a little lighthearted. I know a lot of people are going to say come down hard, and I don't have a problem with that. Like I'm not really actually making light of it, but I think it was well handled by Sophie, which I can laugh at. But here is one of the big problems too, and this isn't the greatest example, but it was the only one that I could find. Is hopefully I can show this to you. Sophie Cunningham, again, the outside, as you'll see, the ball's going to go down low on this side, but you can see the defense is going to collapse wide open. A lot of players can make that pass that we would see right there, but there is no, I mean, she's still waiting. It's not an easy pass, okay? I'm not saying it's an easy pass. And that's why I said, but then when she slides out there and Howard comes into the middle like that, and the reason I bring this up, although it's not the best example, but if you've been watching the games, you can see time after time after time, Sophie Cunningham is wide open and she's not being given the basketball. Now, people will point out all these times when she does get passes. Well, look, you can't go out there and never pass to a specific player, that you just can't function that way. But it happens enough where she is wide open and she's not given the basketball, that clearly there is a problem within the team. And I'm not trying to create drama, but there is a problem on the court. And I don't know if it's personal, if it's a basketball issue where they don't trust her, which would be absurd based on how she's playing. But I've seen it time and time again with Sophie Cunningham, is they're simply not getting her the ball in places and with opportunities where they should. And that is a problem going forward. And look, quick shout out to Natasha Howard. I'm going to give credit here. This is a fantastic block on Cameron Brink, so I just wanted to show that. I mean, that's a great play, man. That is a great player. Like I said, everyone screams and at me for the way I handle certain things in terms of players and, oh, you're a hater and this and that. No, I'm going to be fair. I've been very critical of Natasha Howard when I think it's been warranted, and I'm going to praise her when I think she makes a great play, and that is fantastic defense. Cameron Brink is tall and long, folks, and she went with that play with the left hand. That is a great block by Natasha Howard. So kudos to her on that. And then last thing I think I have here is this is just because she's back. Finally, we've been talking about, hey, where's Cameron Brink? Because it took her a long time, but she is back. And she, speaking of great plays, again, hopefully you're seeing this. But if not, she comes across and makes a great block on Sophie Cunningham and gets the basketball. And I believe actually tied, if we go back to this, tied a career high, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a tie of a career high, or she's maybe one short. Came off the bench in only 16 minutes. Now, she didn't shoot well. The offense isn't there yet, 0 for 6. But in 16 minutes, she grabbed 3 rebounds and had 5 blocked shots. Like I said, just getting Cameron Brink back for her defensive presence makes the LA Sparks a completely different basketball team. They are a dangerous basketball team, which is why I will finish up with this with New York. Actually they're 5.5 games. That's 5.5. That's behind the Lynx. Like the Lynx is, I don't see, unless they have a total collapse, they get that number 1 spot. But 2 through 8 can vary a lot. If you look at this, New York all the way to number 8 Golden State is only a 4.5 game difference, right? It is packed in there. From number 3 Atlanta to number 7 to number 10 to number 8, 3 to 8. What's that? 3.5 games. But on top of that, and this is why I'm talking up the Sparks and why this is an issue for the Fever, LA Sparks is only 1 game. They're only 1 game out of that 8th spot. Washington Mystics, only a 1.5 games out of that 8th spot. There are 10 teams that have a legitimate shot at the playoffs. And within that, all the way up to number 2, things could change dramatically over the last 14, 15 games, depending on how many have played. I think the Fever have 14 left. The Mercury have 15 left. You've got, I mean, look at this. Number 4, Phoenix to number 10, Washington is only a 5-game difference. To number 8, the team that's in it's only 3.5 games. It could change dramatically what you're looking at right here. And no one's running away with it. If you look at the right side, if you can see those numbers, last 10, Phoenix is only 5-5, Indiana 7-3. Seattle 4-6, Aces 6-4, Golden State 5-5, and then it's the Sparks. They're coming on. Cameron's back. They're starting to click a little bit. They have a lot of talent. 8-2, and they're the team out of the playoffs right now. So those teams right ahead of them, those Golden State Valkyries, Aces, Storm. The Storm are sitting in 6, and the Sparks, who are out of the playoffs right now, are only 2 games behind. They're only 3 games behind the number 5 Indiana Fever, folks. And they have, without a doubt, the tiebreaker there with Indiana. So yeah, it's going to get wild here in the WNBA from a strictly basketball perspective, which is kind of interesting. It's going to be fun to watch that because it is a tight race, and teams that are a team that's out of the playoffs right now, like the Sparks, with the way they're playing, you could blink and they're up in that 5 or maybe even 4 spot. And these teams that look like they're solidly in the playoffs, or you expect them to be, your Aces and your Storm like that, could be on the outside looking in. So it's going to get really interesting, but the Fever have got to pick up. Now, look, I should have said this at the beginning because I probably already got the comment about how well they've been playing and their winning streak and, oh, you're panicking. No, I'm just looking at this game. And it's like I'm going to end it with this. It's like I tell all my players when I coach about learning from your mistakes, that winning covers things up. When you win, you're not thinking about the mistakes you made that could have cost you, the things that you did wrong, the things that you need to fix and improve upon, because you won. When you lose, that's when those things stick out. That's when it's like, oh, well, this was a bad play. This was a bad decision. If we fix that, then this happens and we win games. And so things that were happening in the winning streak that, no one's really talking about because, hey, you're winning. When they show up in the loss, it's like, hey, we got to fix those things. We got to fix those things because that's what kept us from winning this. And we won despite them previously, right? The spacing, the decision making, the defense, things like that that need to be fixed for the Indiana Fever. But I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to do an overview video. I know I haven't done post games on every game this season, but I just kind of wanted to give you an overview of what the game was and my general thoughts on how they played and what they need to fix. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate it so much. Thank you for being here. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.